All right, hopefully we should have the pairings here in just a minute for round number two. We did have two drops. Tom Kelly and Zimowit Squara both dropped after they were 4-2. They lost their first game with their dark side deck to go to 4-3. And we're at the top of the SOS leaderboard at the start of the day for the 4-2 players, with one 7-3, possibly two 7-3s likely to have a shot. Them dropping certainly does open the door for some other people to go in, and obviously there's a number of different factors that go into it between work, personal life commitments, and things like that. Time zones are certainly playing a factor, as it's approaching 12:30 here Eastern Standard Time. Zimowit playing from Poland. He's 6 hours ahead. It's already, dinner time for him over there. He may have family commitments to work on. Tom, East Coast, U.S. currently, I believe. I think he's still in Rhode Island. So, but we do not have our pairings just yet. Now we're ranging into the silly range, which what if everyone drops? Then we'll all qualify. Maybe we won't even have 8 people playing tomorrow. It is only the top 8 that advance to play again tomorrow. And I'm sure we will have plenty of coverage of all of those games. Before games, it is a bracket. Top 8 players will be seeded. They will play the traditional 8-man bracket format to get to the finals. And I'm sure we should have plenty of people available to stream those games. Probably just depend on who makes the cut and who doesn't. So we're also hearing rumors of a possibility that Steve Baroni may have to drop at some point in this tournament. He's trying to avoid it, but his family runs a restaurant, and the person who was supposed to cover for him today was diagnosed this morning with COVID, so they will not be able to come into work. So now he's seeing if anybody else is available to cover for him for a few hours. So let's see if we have our pairings. Now we're just gonna troll Matt Sokol in the chat a little bit. Somebody was talking about the last time they played a live event was the 2000 World Championships, which Matt did win. And it was like you were so great and thanks like that. And Matt's like, yeah, I haven't won anything since 2000 though, so trying to be humble and whatnot. But So of course I had to point out that Wars CCG that Decipher came out that lasted about a year. That Matt did win their technical first world championship for. It was only like 4 people or whatever. Um, so now I'm joking with him that maybe while he's at it, he can win. There's somebody posted something about a young Jedi world championship this year. Like so, maybe Matt could win that, and then he'll have the triple crown, right? Be the only person to win all three. And now we're all trolling Schoenthal to find out where the pairings are. It's like you got 30 command cards and a stack in front of you. Half of them are light side wins, or most of them are light side wins. I think 11 out of the 16 games were won by light side. Looking at the standings from round one, a lot of light side wins over here. Bastion, Paul, Matt, Drew, James are the only dark side wins. So maybe now he's just second guessing or triple checking himself. Because it looked like it's been about 20 minutes since we pointed out that he needed to repair. Let's see what we got. Okay, so Dan's posting the pairings now. And now that he's posted them, Scott chimes in with, "Oh, there were 2 drops. Oh, who dropped?" I guess Scott stopped watching the chat for a little while, and the Gemp chat, and the stream chat. So, okay, just make sure those look right. That still looks good. Joe, Jared, Justin. Matt Lutz, Drew, James Martin, yeah. right, so it looks like Dan on the main channel will be streaming we'll have a game between CRG and Ryan Jellison. And Phil will be taking the Joe and Bastion game as expected for round number 2. We'll see if Chris has posted them to the main heat area now. I can share them with you guys. Yep, here we go. So this game is going to be streamed by Phil on his channel. And this game here between Ryan and Matt Lutz I think they're both 5 and 2, will be streamed on the main channel. Yeah, both these guys were in this pile, Jellison and Matt Lutz. So they're both moved up to 5 and 2. And then I'm going to take a peek at what we've got for some matchups and figure out which game may be the most interesting to stream. If you guys are in the chat, of course, feel free to chime in with what game you would like to see based on those pairings. And depending on the matchups, we will see what we can accommodate. Okay. We got game 2 pairings going up here. A bunch of games all just firing and starting, and probably having a little bit of lag in the process when you start queuing up all these games at once. So we got Kipple, Bring 'Em Before Me versus Hitco. We've got Diplo versus Huntdown V. This is the game being streamed on the other channel. We've got Huntdown Legend, that's old school Huntdown, against Legend. Hitco ISB, which we've seen more than enough. IE versus No Idea. Huntdown V versus Hyperdrive V. This game might be the one to stream because I don't think we've seen Hyperdrive V in a little while. Maybe somebody streamed it last weekend, I don't know. But we've got a Dathomir SSA against a Hitco. We've got a WAP versus a Huntdown. Huntdown V versus a Watch Your Step. Huntdown V versus Hyperdrive, or WAP versus Huntdown. And of course, Adam wants to watch WAP versus Huntdown. All right, we'll start with this game. MHT against JagTech for WAP versus Huntdown. Typically speaking, this favors the WAP player depending on the build. Because usually the WAP player has space. So Huntdown takes the throne room, in my experience. Huntdown takes the throne room pretty quickly and early on in the game. And then Lightside just sets up out here and then takes space, and then they just sort of out damage, and they're not paying for it. And usually the game slowly starts to tilt in their favor, because if they commit, Vader here, then it's really only Maul that they have to worry about going elsewhere. So it gets interesting. Now, obviously, if there's different builds and different possibilities of, how much space is in the light side version. If it's just like a token ship or two, then then they have to be a little more fearful of like an Emperor shuttle package or something coming down and crushing their Rick and Queen's ship or whatever they might have going on. But WAP certainly isn't a deck that we see a lot, so other than Adam playing it from time to time. start with this game. So Justin takes Camino and Queen into hand from reserve deck. He'll deploy Camino later and then use it to pull the 1-0 site, or the 2-0 site rather, to get himself plenty of force activation. Matt is gonna. Is this 12 card? This is 12 card hunt down. It looks like that Matt went with. Yep. So Matt dropped I Am Your Father from hand. Played the castle from hand. And is now force pushing to exchange. He may be going for the very early pressure too, because of We'll Take the Long Way, Imperials deploy +1 to the throne room. So with the 6 force he has active, well, now with Vader being deploy 6, he'd be okay. He could get around it that way. But if he didn't have I Am Your Father out, he'd have to force push for the extra force to deploy Vader for 7. He can play Maul for 7. He could play Vader and save a force for a barrier or something. Or moving Vader may also be what he needed the force for. So there you go. So he's going to use the castle to pull Vader. He may have another Vader in hand, but just wants to get the one out of his deck while he can. And Jagdak's going to barrier him, because WAP activates 1 on your turn, so on each turn. We get the first turn opening hand barrier on Vader to trap him at the castle. Alright. Already some interesting moves in this game. Good choice, guys. Matt's not going to grab it. So he'll still get the lightsaber out while he can get that set up. Heck, he can drain for 1 if he wants to. Also, by trapping Vader there, several things. He prevents Vader from being at the battleground to flip the objective. It means Darkseid will have to take the ping damage from Visage this turn as well. And he's also not occupying the throne room to possibly threaten a force drain next turn for 3. So, getting him stuck there certainly a pretty important, pretty important for the pace of the game. Matt top decks a force field. Justin top decks a Bith Shuffle to Visage damage. Justin gets 7. He can activate 1 more with his objective at any time this turn that he needs to. He's going to deploy Qui-Gon outside for 5. Use Jedi Business to go pick up a lightsaber. His characters move to the hallway for free. If he activates 1, that'll give him 3. Amidala, I believe, deploys -1, so he can deploy her there for the 3, and then they can both move over for free. Then he's kind of in a position where he can threaten to take the throne room if he wants to. He also has to consider the option of, playing Camino. If he does that, then he has to spend force, I think, to get the site, which would prevent him from deploying Amidala. Yeah, so he's going to go this right. He doesn't want to give his opponent the extra force as well. Camino is a 2-2 system, so you give your opponent that kind of early activation and they can do all kinds of bad things to you. Yep, and they move over to the hallway. Now he'll threaten that Ascension Gun's movement in the deploy phase. There's also the possibility of Neighbor moving in the control phase, and then sorry about the mess or something like that. Now Vader's immune to a bunch of stuff like that. He's immune to Clash. He's immune to sorry about the mess. But whoever may end up with him isn't. Here's the other thing too with Qui-Gon. If you just lost force from an opponent's effect, upload an episode 1 interrupt, accept control, or do something with credits. So he goes and gets the Odin Nestler first aid combo. Cancels disarmed, prevents Dr. E, restores guys forfeit, or during the move phase lets you relocate people to a battleground site. So it gives him another way to move people around if he needs to. Now he doesn't pull battle plan, and Matt will drain for 1. And Justin top decks a card, and it's his 2-0 Camino site. That is certainly going to be an interesting factor in this game, as it's really going to limit Lightside's activation. That is a huge situation. Obviously, if he pulls battle plan, I don't think Matt pays to drain for 1 there. But if you can drain for 1 for free, why wouldn't you, right? And of course, because he didn't pull the location out last turn, what's the first card he top decks? The 2-0 location. Alright, so Matt's going to drop Kier Canos for 4. He will let you go get a Royal Guard, so he can go get Min. Min would also cost 4 if you wanted to deploy him. Now seems like a good time to do that. Oh, he's going to drop Dr. E. The Odin combo, like we said, will stop the Dr. E, but can still have a pretty big impact here. And then he's just going to move Vader over. Who is this matchup? This is JagTech against MHT. Matthew Harrison Trainer versus Justin Miyashiro. Come on, Scott, keep up. Alright, so there's the Coward Shield to stop him from draining at the 1-0. It's obviously important to keep WAP from flipping. And he will get Weapon of a Sith as well to stop any Weapon Lev shenanigans, which are always a possibility against Huntdown. Or against WAP. Well, against either deck, really. Couldn't see it, thanks. Okay, well, glad I could help out. And they both lose. Only Lightside loses to Visage, and there goes Qui-Gon's lightsaber. Qui-Gon's armed with the Jedi lightsaber at the moment. Alright. Justin is going to control tunnel vision here. It's unlikely he plays any other locations other than Camino and the 2-0 site, so losing that activation, pretty costly. He does still get 1 each side from the objective, but once if he's able to flip, he's really going to be hamstrung because that's 2 extra force he's losing. Darkseid has really no incentive to put any of their additional locations out. They've got both of their 2-0s. If they're having any battlegrounds, possibly they may have another 2-0 with the security tower. And then I don't know if they're playing what they're playing for a battleground of their own, just in case it's a space deck or something. that they run into. Probably uh, the Cloud City 2-2 site, the downtown plaza. But Matt would have no incentive to put that location out and give Justin any additional force to work with. So Justin control tunnel visions and then follows it up with a rebel leadership. We'd assume he's getting General Kenobi here. And he does. There's always the possibility of like neighbor and sorry about the mess on Dr. E kind of thing. Because Vader's immune to the sorry about the mess. Nope, he's going to deploy. So he could use the ascension guns and move. Very risky though. Like I said, sometimes this is when we see a WAP just go back outside to the courtyard and just sort of pile up there for a little bit. And then that's usually when they try and set up space to out damage the hunt down player. He will deploy Kenobi. He's going to use Kenobi and get a clone or a Reflections 3 trooper. Most likely he'll get a clone here, probably Rex or Cody. He does take Rex. And he does move back outside. I'm sorry, he moves Obi inside, rather. For free there. So he's got his guys, so he's going to have to slowly build up a pile of guys, it looks like. Meanwhile, he's going to be taking damage from Visage that Matt is not taking. And Matt will have the ability to drain for 3 inside the throne room. This is going to be a tough spot. He is going to play the battle plan shield now. Justin will. It's going to force Matt to at least spend some of his force for that drain. Matt's still going to spend it. It's a drain of 3. It's too hard to pass up there for sure. Justin's going to top deck some cards here. There goes a Sense. There goes a Chewie with gun. There goes a Plo Koon. And Matt is certainly in the driver's seat here. He can reinforce that site if he feels the need to. Or he could just draw and save a couple cards. He is going to reinforce. He's going to add Tarkin. So Tarkin will give him an additional battle destiny, plus allow him to redraw if he draws something low. And now he can draw 2 or 3 cards and cause 1 more ping damage with Visage and say go. It's not really a game that Matt has to do a whole lot for right now. He just needs to make sure he doesn't get, caught with something unexpected. And there is the neighbor in leads. 4-2, so he'll move in the activate phase. Unless Matt has anything to cancel it, like a Gick combo. Hunt down is flipped, so you don't have to worry about him sensing the Gick combo. Is he considering canceling, grabbing the neighbor? Okay, he's going to grab the neighbor. But does he have a canceller for it? He does not. Okay, so activate phase, all those guys move over. And now Justin would get a first control phase action, whether it's a disarmed. Or sorry about the mess. You kind of have to go for Dr. E or Tarkin here, I think. Going for Vader is just too rough. Too unlikely. It's too likely. With 10 cards in his hand, it's a good possibility he's got a force field. All right. And he will draw high enough and get rid of Dr. Evazan. From what we've seen of Matt's builds in the past, he does like to run 2 of that guy. Why would you, why not? Of course, he's so good. And now he'll play Ascension Gun, so he gets to peek at the top 2 cards of his reserve deck. He'll get to take 1 into hand and put the other one back. So he gets a card into hand, plus he knows what his next Destiny draw is going to be. That can certainly help if he doesn't search his deck for a weapon or anything. There is a Captain Rex. So Rex adds a Battle Destiny. He also has an additional weapon. Draw 2 Destiny. Hit if total -2 greater than defense value. Good for picking off mid-level guys like Tarkin and Kyrkanos. Freeing up your bigger Jedi to use their weapons to go after people like Vader. If you can get a weapon on Kenobi, this would be a lot better for Justin here. Because Vader's very likely to block the lightsaber swing with the force field. So if he could get a second swing, it would be a lot better. It also doesn't make forfeit 0. Oh, he's got a Jedi's concentration. Okay. So that's going to prevent all lightsaber swings. So neither of them will get to swing this battle. So Rex will get to shoot, probably at Tarkin in this case. And then both sides will draw 2 Battle Destiny. Kenobi's your most likely to be expendable here, unless he's got a leadership to limit him again. He's also with a clone, so during battle he can activate force or add 1 to a just drawn Destiny. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Justin's clock is the one running here, so it looks like he was either lagged out or just debating on who to shoot at. He is going to shoot at Tarkin. Remember, it's total destiny -2 greater than defense value. So right now he needs at least a. Oh, that's not going to do it. If he uses Kenobi to add 1, that would put him to 6, which he will have to do. -2 is 4, greater than 3. That will hit. Yeah. So Tarkin is hit and forfeit -3. Matt will play the Lana combo to restore his forfeit, so it will be the full 6. So now he's just going to hope that. Well, I think either case is going to be safe. Unless Justin draws 6-5 and gets 11, Tarkin and Kyrkanos, at the very least, should cover 10, so they should cover most of the damage. No weapon swings for Darkseid. Curious that, yeah, Vader didn't cancel his game text sooner. I guess he was waiting to see what else came down, maybe, if anybody else was going to show up. But Vader could have canceled Rex's text sooner, so he'll cancel the second Destiny draw. So with only one draw, Tarkin's definitely going to cover it. And now Justin's kind of just hoping it stays under 9. So he can just lose. He draws a Sonic and a Sith Fury, so that's an 8. So Kenobi will probably go. Not a great battle for Justin, and that's a battle that he initiated, and that's the scary part. Is he initiated that battle, he did not clear very much out of this throne room. And he had to use 1 or 2 of his defensive tricks in order to really just get this point. Matt's going to activate 11 now. And he could definitely have some solid characters to come back with. Both sides will lose to Visage, and Qui-Gon's going to upload that Ascension guns, which will at least let him peek at his destinies and see what he's get a card into hand, plus at least put his best destiny on top. Which he will do. With that Ascension guns, as predicted. There's a Sniper Dark Strike. Amidala makes Republic characters immune to URB and Sniper and whatnot, so he's going to have to swing at Qui-Gon because he's the only character he's able to target with that. And this could be a quick game. We could be moving on to one of those other matchups. Oh no! Does he have a Sith Fury? He does have a Sith Fury. He has 2. Wow. Okay. 12 card hunt down. Obviously, you want to make sure you get everybody in the hand. I understand that. Double fours without something like they're tracking us. Oh, it was a 5 and a 4. Sorry. Yeah, Qui Gon's hit. He's gone. Dark side also causes a force loss. And this is very bad. JagTech is about to be in a world of hurt here. Sniper Dark Strike becoming a very popular card in Darkside. Well, Hunt Down and Hunt Down V decks. I would probably expect people to start playing some counters for it. The It's a Hit, I'm sorry, It's a Trap card. The used part does cancel it. And he's going to no escape to take the sniper back into hand. Now it is unique, so he can't do it again this turn. But it's pretty much locking up that site for a while. Now we'll see what other characters Matt has to commit. Obviously, Vader's going to swing at one of them. He can cancel Rex's game text, so there won't be any weapon destiny, and then he'll just be, having someone to forfeit. We know he's got Min in hand. The question would be, does he have anybody else? Does he have a second Tarkin? Uh, no Lana combo or anything. We know he's got the Odin combo, so Doctor E not as good here. Someone like P59 would also be good. Some of these guys have, these guys are only defense value. Well, she adds 2. She's defense value 6. P59 not as good at hitting people with Amidala around. Maul would kind of be the game breaker, because then you're pretty much just swinging and hitting both of them. They're both forfeit 0, most likely. I mean, one of them will keep their forfeit, I guess, with the Odin combo, but you'd still have 18 to 6 power, even if Amidala keeps her forfeit. It's 18-13, so light side's already down by 5, and that's before Destiny gets drawn. But Matt certainly could have other ways other than Maul to get there too. And the important thing to remember too, of course, is he doesn't need the overflow to win the game. He's already winning the game. He's got a much substantial life force advantage. He's got a force activation advantage. He's ahead. He's got 34 down to Justin's 22, so he's already ahead considerably in that, and he's out activating him. Okay, so there's a Boba Fett bounty hunter. He does have the perimeter scan though, so Boba Fett will not be able to battle this turn. I think you're still going to battle anyway, rather than pay the upkeep. That's a tough one, because you want to battle and keep the pressure on. You don't want your opponent to be able to dig anything out. I think you battle anyway and just sacrifice Fett. Yeah, Boba will be excluded. No battle for you, Boba. But Vader does battle for free, so he will have the 2 force remaining to pay the upkeep if he wishes. He'd have no force to draw and nothing else going on, but the outcome of this battle may dictate that. Four is a very common number in Darkside mains decks. Between things like the imbalance combo, Imperial commands, sonic bombardments, force fields, no escape. A lot of staple cards are all Destiny 4. Conversely, light side decks have a lot of staple cards that are all Destiny 5. Alright, Rex is hit. That's going to force the Odin combo to protect his forfeit to try and soak up the rest of this overflow. These guys do cover 11. He does have to lose a force for I'm Your Father, but these guys do cover 11, so he's covering up to 17, so he won't necessarily take overflow in this battle, but he's losing significant board position in a game he's already well behind in. The best case scenario here, that's a start. The best case scenario here for Justin is if he top decks a 6 right here. A Jedi's Resilience would be the only card, really, because that would at least get rid of 2 guys. That's not going to do it. If you're Justin, you're in a spot where you have to peel at this point. He drew low enough that Amidala was immune, so this slightly worked out better for him. Because you can't deploy to the throne room unless you occupy. So by keeping her alive there, he doesn't have to deploy here and walk his way back in. He can deploy straight here. I don't know what he's going to deploy straight into. Vader plus Fett, weapon plus 3 Battle Destiny, with a guy who also can cancel an interrupt. So even if you had an Obi and a leadership to limit the Battle Destiny draws, Kirkanos can just cancel the leadership. So still not looking good for Justin, but at least you can say that battle didn't go as bad for him as it could have. He does have a Mace Windu, though. And Mace has that wonderful text that says, Fets may not add Battle Destiny draws here. No lightsaber, though, for Mace. And Justin's just going to scoop it. He knows he's way behind, and yeah. So congratulations to Matt on picking up another win. And moving on here, and hopefully Justin can bounce back for another game. We'll go back in the lobby here, see what else we got going on here. All right, so Dylan's IE kind of running all over Brother Just's No Idea. The rest of these games all look fairly close. See if we have any games that have finished. Oh, Ketwall's Huntdown V did beat the Hyperdrive. That was the one other game that we wanted to check out, but Huntdown's already over that one. The rest of these games all look pretty close. Let's see who else. Watch Your Step ISB. We'll pop in this one real quick. If Charlie's got the stack set up on the ship right, there's not a lot that he can... Wow. Okay. So Charlie's got space very well stacked up here. That's going to make this almost impossible to get through. He's got the Stalker piled up with Colonel Wolf Yularen and Tarkin and other guys, so he's not reducing his power. He can follow them. He's getting multiple Battle Destiny. He can cancel a Destiny draw. Yeah. And Kessel isn't even on the table at this point, so that's going to be one of those games where Watch Your Step just doesn't have a way to do a lot of damage, and ISB just slowly grinds the game out. Lots of hunt down Vs. Jared playing Black Sun. Take a peek in at this one, see what's going on. Okay, so we're on Jared's turn. He's got a Mountain of Force. He just dropped Boba Fett Bounty Hunter with Aura Sing in front of Luke. Light side has a pretty good spread. They got a good spread. There's a Boba Fett. There's a 4-LOM. So Luke's game text is going to get canceled. He's drawn 3 Battle Destiny here. This one's going to be kind of rough. Chris with 11 cards in hand, though, could easily have a Hoojix or something, or a dodge to move away. Would be pretty huge. And there's a Greedo as well. He has 3 Force saved. It could be it's a hit. It's a trap. I keep wanting to say it's a hit. That's the other card, of course. He could have an It's a Trap, which isn't a bad card because, of course, it cancels, sniper combo. Well, it cancels sniper, not just the combo. There's the don't. He plays the Hear Me Baby just to pull his shield. He's going to Force Lightning used to make Luke defense value -4. 4-LOM will cancel his game text to subtract 2 from power. Makes it very likely Aura Sing's also going to hit him and make him forfeit 0. So if no evasion card or no Hoojix. Alright. Chris is going to play Clash of Sabers on Aura Sing. And that will draw out a sense from the Emperor. The fact that he's playing Clash of Sabers makes it likely he may not have the Hoojix, which would be bad. Jared draws the 4. He'll have to lose 2 Force, which will get reduced to 1 from Decree. And eventually he clicks that button. Not sure what he was stuck on there. So the Clash is canceled. And there's an old expression right now, something about being up a creek without a paddle. If he has the Hoojix, he at least has some board presence, and he's contesting space here, okay. Now, obviously, if Luke dies, the objective flips. Now he starts adding, he can peek at cards, and he starts adding to attrition, which will help clear out this Falcon in space. He draws a 2 and a 4. That will hit Luke. And make him forfeit potentially 0. Yep, looks like his forfeit is reset to 0. There's a Help Me Obi-Wan, which he will use to exclude 4-LOM from the battle. excluding Forlom, he subtracts a couple of power and lets Luke keep his game text, which keeps him with an extra 2 power. And Jared either must know he has the Hujix in hand or not. He's going to play a force push to exclude both guys and end the battle immediately, taking Luke off the table. So he must know that Chris has the Hujix or something to get out of that battle. Because there's no other reason why you'd make him play it. You'd go through the beatdown. Chris tries to play a Jedi Resilience to take Luke back into hand, and Jared hits him with the cold feet, and Chris is going to concede the game anyway. So, congratulations to Jared on picking up a win and moving up. We got Ryan playing a stunning move. And Matt, that's being streamed on the other channel. And then we've got Joe on Watto against Bastion's Legend. That's on the main channel. Hunt Down V versus Diplo. Hunt Down V versus Watch Your Step. Well, let's take a look and see how Taco Bill is doing. Special thanks to Taco for organizing this event. He was kind of the one doing all the work behind the scenes, coming up with the idea, the format, getting all that organized. All right, so looking at this, we've got a defensive perimeter stacked up pretty good. We've got a Cantina with a projection on it stacked up pretty well. We've got Melas camped out with an image of the Dark Lord at the Sith Temple Chamber. And then we've got an Emperor Shuttle with an Emperor, Tarkin, and a Grand Inquisitor and a Hatred card stacked on Han Solo along with Captain Lando and Kira as a passenger. They are sitting at Corellia here. Bill's going to move Lando to a passenger spot, and now he's going to drop Chewbacca here. Chewbacca does add 3 to power. Whereas Lando, I think, only adds 2. Yeah, Lando does only add 2, so he'll get the 1 extra power. Bill's flipped, so he's getting... I don't know if he's completed a Kessel Run or not. I don't know if he's adding that Destiny or not. We don't know if he's completed a Kessel Run. Probably at this point in the game, you'd like to think he's completed a Kessel... Actually, I can check his out-of-play pile. Right? He's got 3 cards out of play here. Yeah, there's a Kessel Run, so he completed a Kessel Run. So he's getting 3 Battle Destiny here, up against 3 Battle Destiny over here. But if he's got the moving to attack position to make the ship immune, then it could potentially just be a big power difference. That could cause him to have to forfeit at least somebody off that ship. So Darkseid's total destiny will be +2 because of the Inquisitor with the Hatred card, which I've already expressed my hatred for that working in space, but, you know. Bill does verify his destiny, so he'll know what those 3 cards are and know what he can get out of here. If he's got the moving to attack position, it makes him 10-4, so he's up 6. Light's Darkside's Destiny is totals +2, so he's really up 4. So then it's 3 draws against 3 draws. You assume the average Darkside mains deck is going to draw a bunch of 4s, so they're looking at about 11, maybe with 3 Destiny. I would assume 11. Seems like a good number. This will be the last game of the day that I'm going to stream. I don't know if anybody else will be jumping in for the extra rounds. I think Phil may also have to leave soon as well, but I know Dan's going to be on for most of the day. I'm sure as more players drop, we might get the possibility of people jumping in for the later rounds, but okay. So, Kira's action is initiated if you initiate a battle where or you've completed a castle run. Opponent loses a force, so he loses a masterful move combo off the top of the reserve deck. And then Shadow's going to shuffle his deck. Bill did an exchange using using Lando. There was no valid targets, though, so there's nothing in there that he could get. I guess he just wanted to shuffle one more time, because he just verified what was in there, so I guess he forgot. Or he just saw the thing pop up and wanted to click it anyway. Alright, so Bill's getting 3 Destiny. He draws a Theron Net, and he's going to Jedi Lev to take that into hand. I hope he has an all-wings combo to spin one of these next Destinies. Otherwise, he's not going to have enough cards left to draw. Okay, so he's going to play a spin from the Lost Pile for 6. He draws the ship for 2, that's 8. And a Kessel Run for 5 gives him a total of 13. Darkside just shuffled their deck, so they're kind of drawn blind here. Ooh, there's that Gick. Tarkin can redraw that, though. There's a You Are Beaten, so that gives him a total of 7. And he's got 1 draw left. 8, 9. Oh, he's got a Sith Fury for that. And it's another 4. Hey, look at that. He drew 11. Force Field, Sith Fury, yeah, all the dark side cards. There you go. So, light side wins the battle. Bill's got 13 attrition. Chewie covers 8. So he can basically lose Chewie and Lando. They'll cover 14. That'll keep him with Han and Kira. And Bill's just going to concede it because he's got nothing left going on. And he's getting outdrained heavily on the ground. Congrats to Fernando on picking up another win and moving further up the rankings. Just a couple games left here in round number 2. Hunt Down Legend. Hitco ISB. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 1 Ryan and Stubley are going to play a practice game. All right, let's check out this Paul Justin game. All right. All right. So, Justin, they both have 7 cards in hand. Justin's got 18 force left. Paul's got 17 force left, so pretty tight game. Looking at board control here, we've got a pretty big drain over at the defensive perimeter, which is being capped by ultimatum to a drain of 2. There's a drain of 2 possibly in the cantina if there's not some shuffling going on. Not having to pay to drain because of Tantive with Captain Ramus parked at Tatooine. We did a Lando Falcon, probably early game move. We've got a Leia with a hatred card and a Luke. And Paul is approaching his battle phase. He is flipped. She is not undercover, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 being added to the total. Owen and Baru to the farm for free. He could battle Vader here potentially. If he's adding 4 to his total, you don't really need to draw very high to kill Vader. He's going to battle with Leia first. Get the 1 retrieval. He'll retrieve the Tatooine Celebration sitting on top of his Lost pile. Interesting. Paul's going to play the leadership here. Okay, so forget about battling Vader. Paul's going to play the leadership here to add a battle destiny, so he's going to draw 2 destiny. He's already adding 4 to the total, and he's already ahead on this guy whose forfeit is only 4. So that guy covers 9, 11, we'll assume, with the destiny between the bonus from here from the hatred card. So Paul's going to add the battle destiny, draw 2, and add 4 to his total. It looks like Justin may have sensed. Yes, looks like he sensed because there's the do or do not hitting. So the leadership is canceled, so Paul's only getting a 1. Justin has the far more frightening card to add a battle destiny of his own. And just because he can, Vader's going to cancel Owen and Baru's game text. Okay. So Paul draws a 5, which will become a 9, bringing him up to 21. Excuse me. I felt that one coming on. So Justin gets up to a 10 with his destiny and an 8 total. So Paul does win the battle. He will get to retrieve. And Justin only loses the fight by 6, so it's the Night Sister and 2 cards, Ninth Sister, which isn't too bad. Meanwhile, Paul's got 10 attrition over there, which is Radis and one of the other two. You'd presumably think he's going to be Leia, and he'll keep Luke, and that's is what he does. Oh, and he's got an old Ben to bring her right back. So Leia's going to come right back. There goes the sister. And they'll just have 2 battle damage. So a very good battle for Paul. And now you have to wonder, does he know what that last card is? And does he know what's in Justin's hand? There's always the fear with their game text being canceled and stuff. If he loses, you are beaten off the top and a Tarkin from hand. So you have to wonder here, if you battle into this, yeah, if you draw decent enough, you just have to be greater than, you're adding 3 to your total now. 1, 2, 3. You could possibly kill Vader and clear him out. But that does not seem to be what he's looking to do here. A lot of things that can go wrong with doing that. If he's got a sniper to take, hit Lando, take him out of the battle, and then beat up on Owen and Beru, whose game text has already been canceled. Owen and Beru's going to move away. Lando going to get back on the ship and take off. Or possibly just move over in front of Leia, with Leia and Luke. Yep. So they'll move over there. So now he gets back to his total of 4. So this battle here doesn't look like it's going to go that badly. No weapon to make forfeit 0. She forfeits for 5, and he's adding 2, 3, 4 to the total. He will try again to use a hatred card to cancel Jin's text, which is what lets her draw Destiny. It's basically just causing 1 force loss to Paul while putting 1 card from his loss pile. It's a free force loss is what it is. And if you have the card that lets you cycle back your hatred cards, now you get 2 free retrievals that are non-retrievals. You guys are awfully quiet in the chat today. Is anybody even watching this? Or are you guys all too focused on the main games that are still going on? Alright, Justin will pay to drain. Drain number 1 goes through at the defensive perimeter. Drain number 2 gets canceled by an It's a Hit. And now Vader will get a drain through as well. So there's drain number 3. So Paul lost 4 total this turn. And Justin will check that Destiny just because he can. Who else is in here watching? Ah, Silverglund's watching. Okay. We get a fifth brother. Going to the cantina. Possibly see. I'm going to say he's not going to move Mara out, but he wants to just solidify that a little bit so when those guys all bounce into the cantina after draining, it's not as big of a lopsided battle. So Justin's going to get drained here for one in three different spots. He's going to lose top deck an Emperor Shuttle, top deck a Lord Vader, and throw away a Vader Enforcer from hand. So we just lost two Vaders. Ray's going to draw a card. Paul does still have his Walkling retrieval as well, so if he loses something or just needs to get a card back, he can also do that. I'd have to say he's slightly ahead of this game for the reason that while he's slightly getting out damaged, 6-4 or 6-3, Justin does have to pay for all those drains, and there's only going to be another turn or two that he'll be able to afford doing that. And with only one card left in hand, it's unlikely we're going to see. He just lost the shuttle earlier, so it's unlikely we would even see him have any type of space to even just try and throw something in front of the Tanev. Throw a shuttle with an Emperor on it for a turn or two, just cuz. So, Paul's going to drop a Commander Nara and draw the top card of his reserve deck. Potentially, if he was tracking right, that could be the It's a Hit back into hand that he would need to then cancel one of these two drains on Tatooine. And Nara will initiate battle. That also gives him a fifth guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's adding 5 to his total. So even though it looks, kind of bad for him, this is a lightsaber that does not make forfeit 0. Just hits people. Which means they can't be used to satisfy attrition, which in this case is irrelevant. But Paul will clear him with his destiny draw, assuming he gets to draw it, unless there's a sniper here or something played to remove him. Nope, no sniper. So there's an Antilles maneuver for a 5. That's going to get rid of this Knight 8th Brother. And ironically, Justin draws the sniper for Destiny. And he will actually have to lose an additional card. So very good battle for Paul. The fact that he clears a Drain 2 site, the Drain 2 site that he can't cancel with the It's a Hit. He retrieved a force for winning the battle and gets Ahsoka back, and Justin also takes one additional force loss and overflow. And Paul will now battle with Jin as well. Perhaps just trying to stop the force loss. Oh, there's the It's a Hit. Alright, so that was the first card he played. It wasn't. If he's just tired of getting pinged. So everybody dies in both locations. And it's a tie. Now we'll see if Justin has the card to put them back. He does not. Paul gets to peek at his hand and see what those two cards are. Get some very vital information here on this last, what's probably the last turn. Clock's huge difference here. Obviously, Paul always a slower player. Justin usually a quicker player. And Paul's going to shuttle the droids down. I guess knowing that there's nothing in space that he's afraid of. Does he move to block one of the two drains, or does he just say, I'm going to lose 4 if you pay for all of it, while I'm doing 3 back to you and not paying, and I'm ahead on life force, and kind of just, put it in cruise control. 7, 5. Justin's got 12 and 2 for 14 total. Paul's got 12 and 5 for 17 total. 18 if he uses Walkling to retrieve. Nope, he will block the drain at the farm. He's going to move Owen and Baru and Lando over. Okay. It's interesting that he would put his two guys who, boost his objective total together. You would think you'd want to keep them separate, and he would have moved somebody like Leia over. Um, okay, so maybe he has 2 It's a Hits. So he blocks the one drain and cancels the other. If he's got 2 It's a Hits, this is going to be really rough for Justin. There's not going to be much he can do. Right. So Justin's going to drop the Grand Inquisitor. He's going to play a card and cancel Luke's game text for the rest of the turn, which Paul doesn't really care about. Luke's game text not really relevant here. There's no weapons, and immunity isn't an issue because the druids forfeit for 7. And he'll just move over to block. So the game is certainly looking to be very much in Paul's favor at this point in time. Now, the thing working against Paul, as always, is his clock. With just 9 minutes remaining, uh, you know, Justin can continue just kind of going through all the motions and make Paul play it out to the very last card. And if he runs out of time, Justin will get the win. Paul's going to put a couple of 5s back with the all wings combo and a quite a mercenary. So he just stacked 2 5s together on top of his it's a hit. So he can activate 10. And then he's basically looking at drawing 2 5s. He could bounce all 3 of his guys into the cantina. He could battle Vader, draw 5, bounce his guys into the cantina, battle Mara, and he's, 12 to 5, drawing a 5. In which cases, they're both 7s because of the objective damage, so bonus rather. He's going to drain first. There goes an Emperor off the top and a no escape off the top. So yeah, Justin's only chance of winning this game is for Paul to time out. Paul's just pulling further and further ahead, and he's got himself into a very beneficial situation to battle. He's going to deploy Commander Nara over there to the defensive perimeter. That will accomplish several things. It gives him an extra place to drain to speed the game up. It also boosts his destiny total by 1. So when he draws a 5, which is now +3, both these guys he forfeits for 6 and for 7. It will clear both characters. He's running 2 Commander Nara. Would you look at that? Is a cheap hit and run guy, I guess, right? A guy you can pull into space with Antilles maneuver. He will retrieve Jin for battling with Leia, so he gets another card back. Yeah, this is just slowly, death by 1,000 paper cuts here, pulling ahead in Paul's favor. And Darkseid loses 20 to 19. Both their guys will die. Only R2 and 3PO will die. And first, for winning the battle, Paul will retrieve and get his other Commander Nara back. So he just got 2 cards back this turn, which is, 2 cards he possibly was force drained for the previous turn. And meanwhile, Justin is now down 2 more characters. Just losing board position inch by inch. It's one of the things Diplo's very good at doing. It's very good at grinding things out. Yeah, and Justin's just going to scoop it. Paul's got a little too much time left. He's got 8 minutes left on the clock, so he's going to go ahead and wrap it up and take a short break before the next round. So just 3 games left to go here in round number 2. Both of our feature matchups on the other channels, of course, as has been the case for the first round as well. But I'm going to wrap it up with my stream for today. Thank you guys very much for tuning in and watching. Thank you for all the follows. I appreciate that, and I'm sure the PC channel appreciates the support as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed the coverage. We'll have plenty more coming throughout the day, and the top 8 will take place tomorrow as well. Same bat time, same bat channel. So you guys have a great day. Take it easy, and if I don't see you later, good evening and good night.